The moment you stop needing someone to understand you is the moment you become dangerous to their control. There's a specific silence that comes after you stop explaining yourself. After you stop defending your choices, justifying your boundaries, or trying to make everyone comfortable with your existence. It's not the silence of being silenced. It's the silence of being done. Done with the exhausting dance of emotional reactivity. Done with treating other people's feelings as emergencies you need to fix. Done with mistaking chaos for connection and drama for depth. They'll call you cold the moment you stop being their emotional dumping ground. They'll say you've changed when you stop absorbing their projections. They'll accuse you of not caring when you stop caring in the way that destroys you. But there's something they don't understand about this new version of you. You haven't become heartless. You've become selective about where you place your heart. Most of us learn detachment as survival, the hyper-awareness of other people's moods, the immediate scan of a room to gauge safety, the automatic adjustment of ourselves to keep the peace, maintain connection, avoid abandonment. It starts early. The way a child learns to read their parent's face before their own feelings. The way attention becomes currency and emotional reactivity becomes proof of love. So we grow into adults who feel everything too deeply, who absorb the energy of rooms, carry other people's pain, and mistake emotional fusion for intimacy. We become women who can't rest when someone is upset with us, who replay conversations for weeks, searching for the moment we said too much or not enough, who feel guilty for having boundaries, anxious for wanting space, selfish for not fixing everyone's problems. The emotional overwhelm isn't just sensitivity, it's conditioning. The belief that our worth is measured by how much we can hold, how much we can heal, how available we can be to everyone else's needs, while neglecting our own nervous system. But here's what no one talks about. Emotional reactivity isn't depth, it's dysregulation. Real feeling, the kind that actually serves us, doesn't require chaos. It doesn't need drama to prove its existence. It doesn't demand that everyone else understand or validate its reality. The most emotionally intelligent women aren't the ones who feel everything. They're the ones who feel what's theirs to feel and let the rest pass through them like weather. Detachment begins with a radical question. What if your emotions don't require action? Think about it. The immediate urge to text back when triggered. The need to explain yourself when misunderstood. The compulsion to fix tension, smooth over conflict, make everyone comfortable with your existence. What if none of that was necessary? The art of detachment isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about unhooking from the stories they tell. The difference between I feel hurt and I am hurt. Between I notice anger and I am angry. There's space between feeling and identity. Between experiencing and embodying. Between reacting and responding. Most of us have never learned to live in that space. We've been taught that feelings are facts, that emotions require immediate expression, that processing means analyzing until we can make sense of everything. But some things don't need to make sense. Some feelings don't need to be understood, just acknowledged and allowed to move through. Some situations don't need our involvement, just our awareness. The woman who has learned detachment doesn't chase clarity from others. She doesn't need everyone to understand her boundaries. She doesn't require apologies, explanations, or validation to move forward. She knows the difference between her business and other people's business, between her feelings and other people's projections, between what she can control and what she needs to release. This isn't about becoming emotionally unavailable or building walls. It's about becoming emotionally sovereign, owning your inner landscape without trying to control anyone else's. It means watching someone's reaction to your boundary and not immediately adjusting to make them comfortable. Hearing criticism without absorbing it as truth. Witnessing someone's pain without taking responsibility for fixing it. The most powerful thing isn't the ability to fight back. It's the ability to not take things personally. To recognize that most of what people do has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own unprocessed emotions. But this level of clarity requires letting go of some beautiful illusions. The idea that love means suffering together, that intimacy requires emotional fusion, that caring means carrying someone else's emotional burdens. True intimacy isn't about feeling everything your partner feels. It's about being present for your own experience while creating space for theirs, without merging or taking responsibility for their emotional regulation. Real love doesn't require emotional reactivity. It doesn't need drama to prove its existence. It can be quiet, steady, unshakable, even when the other person is in chaos. The art of detachment is learning to love without losing yourself, to care without becoming consumed, to stay connected to your own center while the world around you shifts and changes. The moment of true detachment doesn't feel like armor. It feels like coming home to yourself. It's recognizing that your peace doesn't depend on anyone else's approval, that your worth isn't negotiable even when someone treats it as if it is, that your energy is precious and protecting it isn't selfish, it's necessary. This is where real power lives, not in the ability to control outcomes, but in the ability to control your response to outcomes. Not in making everyone happy, but in staying true to yourself, regardless of who's uncomfortable with that truth. Detachment is the recognition that other people's emotions are information, not instructions. Their reactions tell you about their inner world, not your worth. Their approval or disapproval is data about them, not a verdict on your value. When someone tries to make you responsible for their feelings, detachment is the quiet no that doesn't need explanation. When someone pushes against your boundaries, it's the stillness that doesn't push back or defend, just remains. It's the difference between being reactive and being responsive, between being triggered and being informed, between being swept away by the emotional current and being the calm observer on the riverbank. The woman who has mastered this art doesn't need to announce her boundaries. She lives them. She doesn't need to prove her worth. She knows it. She doesn't need to justify her choices. She makes them from a place of clarity, not a need for approval. She becomes untouchable, not because she's hard, but because she's clear. Not because she doesn't feel, but because she feels without losing herself in the feeling. Maybe the greatest freedom isn't getting what we want. It's no longer needing to control whether we get it. Maybe true strength isn't the ability to hold everything together, but the wisdom to know what deserves your energy and what doesn't. The art of detachment isn't about caring less. It's about caring more intelligently, loving more selectively, investing your emotional energy more wisely. It's the quiet power of the woman who doesn't chase what's not meant for her, who doesn't explain herself to people who are determined to misunderstand, who doesn't fight for space in rooms where she's not wanted. She's not bitter about what she's letting go of. She's grateful for the clarity that showed her what wasn't serving her growth. In the end, detachment isn't about becoming unreachable. It's about becoming unshakable. Not because nothing affects you, but because you're so grounded in who you are that external chaos can't uproot your inner calm. The stillness isn't empty, it's full. Full of self-knowledge, clear boundaries, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you stand for, even when no one else understands.